Perfect. Thank you all so much. As Elisa said in her very, very kind and overly generous intro, my name is Jenna Sherman. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm also a campaign director at UltraViolet, where I focus on the intersection of tech and gender, including our work on disinformation this election season. I'm so extremely excited and just grateful to be here with you all to do some both offense and defense against the crazy disinformation that we're seeing, especially in these final days and weeks before the election. I don't know about you, but it just feels like my nerves are so high in these last weeks that it's actually really helpful and grounding for me to just be taking action in community. And I'm wondering if any others are feeling that way. If so, please feel free to give a thumbs up or raise your hand or comment in the chat if that resonates. The antidote to despair is action. Hell yeah. Yay. It does. I'm seeing some thumbs up, some emoji reactions. This is warming my heart. Okay, yay. I'm glad I'm not alone. I'm so glad we're all gathered here for this power hour. I know it's small, but it's actually perfect because this is the first of these kinds of trainings we've ever done before. This is the first action of this kind we've ever taken with UltraViolet members. So we're doing this all together as a first time. And our hope is that we can grow it post-election, hopefully after a big win, because we know the attacks are going to continue. So this call is going to be part training and part action, and I'm going to go through our agenda really quickly. So first is, oops, sorry, one second. Okay, I'm not sure where this went, but first is the why. We're going to go over kind of like why disinformation attacks are important to keep tabs on and like work against both offensively and defensively. We're then going to get into the what, like what attacks are we seeing and what can we do about it? And then most importantly, we're going to get into the how, like what are we actually going to do? And then we're going to do that together. And we're going to do that in two main ways. The first is through proactive messaging, which we'll be doing by sharing social media graphics, or maybe even sharing the graphics over text with our friends and families. And then we're also going to do it through a second way, which is our defense, and that's our reporting storm. So we're going to be submitting takedown requests for some of the worst content on these social media platforms. So the why is what we're going to start with. And you might be thinking, what role do I have to play in fighting these big institutions and bad actors who are churning out these coordinated lies? But the truth is they want us to feel like we don't have a role here. And the truth is we do have a really big role to play. And that's because disinformation ultimately comes from a lack of trust. People buy into it because of a lack of trust. And we can help both fight lies and also build kind of like preventative trust in our communities through working on this issue. Research shows that people most trust other people they know, even if it's just like an acquaintance and not strangers, not the government or like big organizations. So like you have a role to play with the people in your community. Also, as we know, most people get a lot of political information online. Like all of us are getting a lot of information online. So whether we like it or not, it is a place where our voices are needed because it's a place where people are getting their news and really getting shaped in their opinions. And then finally, people we love and really our entire country are being harmed by these coordinated lies, and protecting each other and our democracy starts with us, and it starts at home. So that's the why. And we want to just quickly highlight some of the attacks that we're seeing so far, because now we've gone over kind of like why we have this big role to play, but we also know we have some really big lies to combat. And if you've spent even a few minutes on social media over the past months, I'm sure you're aware of how bad it can be. So I'm just going to highlight some of the major attacks we're seeing right now, especially when it comes to VP Harris, and that are really ramping up again in these final weeks as Trump and his backers, are really explicitly trying to damage Harris's campaign and the election integrity overall. So some of the most common ones we're seeing are really sexist claims about Harris, like women aren't fit to be president, racist stereotypes like calling Harris and other Black women lazy, racist attacks like questioning Harris's identity and where she was born, accusing Harris and other progressives of pushing a trans agenda while ignoring trans youth and actual healthcare of youth in our country, spreading lies about abortion, and of course, continuing to push the false idea that Trump won the last election and that this one will be rigged too. So it's a lot. It's deeply infuriating, but we have the tools to do something about it. And so that brings us to the how. And to help remember the how, I came up with a little mnemonic, CPR, which is one we use already. So I thought it might be easier. And this is our tools and tactics. And these tactics are counter messaging, proactive messaging, and reporting. And for this training, we're just going to be focusing on those last two, the P and the R, which is proactive messaging and reporting, partially because we're limited in capacity and partially because they're actually some of the more effective ways of fighting disinformation because they don't actually engage with the specific lie that people are spreading. We're not amplifying their content. We're not, getting into fights with people in comment sections. Like, this is kind of separate from that. So with that, we're going to first start with the P, the proactive work, and then we'll get into the R, the reporting work. So first, we're going to get into the P. Proactive messaging is really our offensive work. This is the priming of people to understand the how and why behind sexist and racist attacks so that they're less susceptible. Because we know when people are looking out for types of disinformation, their alarm bells are more likely to go off when they come across something that doesn't really feel right to them. And by us sharing out reminders that we can, look out for these types of content, we can put out positive messages that are actually pushing back against divisiveness, people are less likely to fall prey to those coordinated attacks. This is really our strongest tactic, this proactive messaging. And to help us do this, we have put together two toolkits. One is on the election generally, and one is about abortion specifically. And these toolkits contain social media posts and captions that are ready for you to share out on your own social media platforms. Or if you don't have a social media presence, you can also just take this text and take these images and share them over text. You can share them in WhatsApp or, in group messages you might have with family or friends. It doesn't have to just be to your social media. And these toolkits we're going to share with you shortly after we walk through the steps, because I want us all to be on the same page as we're walking through the steps and then come back together to do it together. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so how do we use these toolkits? We're going to walk through this step by step without actually doing it first, like I just said. Then I'm going to do a demonstration so that you can see how it actually works. Then we're going to pause for questions, and then we're going to do it all together. I know that sounds like a lot, but the idea is that we want to take some time to just kind of drink in the big picture and then ask questions and then get into the nitty gritty. So if you have questions that come up during the instructions and demo, you can either put them in the chat if they're general questions that can wait until the Q&A section, or if they're more urgent questions, please feel free to send a direct message to Mary or Elisa if it's something more urgent. And I also want to note that these steps are going to feel like a lot, and that's because I've broken it down into a bunch of different steps. But once we put them all together, I promise it won't feel quite as overwhelming as it looks. Okay, so step one, and again, we're not doing this right now, we're just walking through what this is going to be, is we're going to make sure we're signed into our social media accounts. You only need to log into one of the following: Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, LinkedIn, Threads, TikTok. If you don't have any of these, that's okay. Again, we'll also talk through other options for sharing. And then ideally, yeah, you would log in on your computer, but if you can't, you can log in on your phone as well. Okay, so that's step one. Step two is we're going to open the link, which I'm not going to send quite yet, and we are going to look through these images ourselves, these graphics. Step three is we're going to take a minute to identify a few of our favorite graphics. Step four, we're going to discuss some of our favorite graphics. And then step five is the actual sharing. So To do the actual sharing, there's a few steps we're going to follow. First, you're going to want to go to the graphic you want to share. Then you're going to click on the platform you want to share the graphic onto. Sorry, as I'm speaking, I'm like, I should just link to this toolkit so you guys can look and know what I'm talking about. So give me a second. I changed my mind. I'm going to send it in the link right now. Oh, thanks, Mary. Mary's already on it. Okay, why does it? Yeah, so just go ahead and open this up. Thanks for bearing with me as I change my mind. Sometimes that happens. And I'm going to take us back to the beginning. And I'll give a second. And you can just give me like a hand wave or a thumbs up when you're there. Have folks opened it? Do you see do you see the toolkits? You should be seeing like a lie rejectors, truth protectors in purple at the top. Mary's got it.
We've got some thumbs up in the chat.
Got thumbs up. Okay, great. I can only see a few of you. So I'm like, where is everybody? Okay, great. So we've opened it up. Great. Okay. And let's just go ahead and take a minute, like everybody take a minute and just scroll through the website. And reminder, there's one at the top that's like more about the election generally. And then there's a second toolkit at the bottom that's all about repro and abortion. So just take like 1 minute, look through, think about kind of like how these messages resonate with you and might resonate with your communities, how you think they might be powerful or not with certain communities. And we'll just take like 30 seconds and then come back to share and discuss a little bit. Okay, please feel free to keep looking, but I'm going to go ahead and throw out this question, which is like, which of these graphics do you like? Like, are any of these resonating with you? Are these types of, messages that you would like be excited to share out to your communities on your platforms? Like, how can you see these messages like maybe benefiting people you know or resonating with people you know in your communities? And feel free to like raise your hand or just unmute yourself or write in the chat. Sweet. Politics shouldn't divide us. Yeah. Lauren.
I really like the do's and don'ts, like don't do this. They're very specific tips. It's hard not to respond, and I think that's helpful.
Totally. Yeah, Lauren says they hope to start with the purple one. Yeah, purple one at the bottom, states where people have already voted to protect reproductive rights. Yeah, it's so cool to be like, we're already like doing this and winning and like giving that positive message. Evangelical street cred, which is hard to say, is very real. And you need the myth busting. Someone you love has had an abortion. Okay, yeah. The crisis pregnancy, yeah. Thanks, Rosa. Okay, I'm so happy to hear that some of these messages resonate. Our goal in making these was to, really give folks a way to express like their opinions, all of our opinions and feelings in a way that is kind of removed from like the everyday really heightened discourse that's super divisive and super politicized, to show like we can be political without being like politicized and ideological and divisive, and just give people factual information. So that is great. This is like the first call where we're introducing these types of graphics. I'm just happy to hear that people like them and that they're resonating. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with me. And now I'm going to go over how we're going to actually share these. I'm going to go through the steps first, then I'm going to demo it, then we're going to do it together. So you're going to want to go to the graphic you want to share. You can choose any of them. You're then going to want to click on the platform you want to share the graphic onto. So there's 7 options, and you just click on the icon for the platform that you want. So there's Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter or X, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Threads. You're then going to click that big bigger rectangular button. For Instagram, it's pink, the one that's on the image here, that says share on and then platform name. Once you do that, it will automatically download the image and copy the text. And some of the platforms have more steps than others because some of them are like directly linked, but most of them have 5 steps. You're then gonna like scroll to make sure you can see the sharing instructions. You're gonna click share on and then platform. It's gonna pull up either Facebook or Instagram or whatever you click on. And then you're going to just start a new post. And once you've started a new post, you're just gonna click paste. So you can either do that by right-clicking and hitting paste, or hitting Command V. And that's like just another way of pasting in. But basically you're just gonna paste it in because it's already copied. And then you're gonna put in the image. So the image will be in your downloads, and you can either drag and drop it from your downloads, or you can click add media or add image and pull it from your downloads itself. The caption will already be in there, but you can edit it however you want, and then click post. So that is the process. And I'm just going to demo that myself. Can you see this new screen with the toolkit now?
No,
No. Okay, let me,
we're still on your slides.
thank you. Okay. Let me stop share. Let me reshare. Okay. Actually. Okay, it's gonna, can you see that? Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so let's see, I want to share this. I want to share it on Facebook. I'm going to click share on Facebook. I'm going to scroll to find the instructions. I know it's already copied the text and downloaded the image, so I'm going to hit share on Facebook. Now it's opened up my Facebook. I'm going to go to create a new post. I'm going to click paste. I'm going to do that by myself by clicking Command V. So I've pasted it in. And then here I can click to add photo or video. And it should be in my downloads. And that is it. And then I'd hit post. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna leave. And then I'm gonna share my slides again. Okay, perfect. All right, I demoed. Any questions? Now we're at the questions portions, and then we're gonna spend 10 minutes just like sharing, doing this on our own. Any questions before then? Okay, wow, that's great. Should we just try it and maybe some questions will come up as we do it? Lauren, yeah.
Sorry, I clicked the hand by mistake. I'm ready to go.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Please go ahead, share any of the graphics you want on any platform you want. If you don't have social media, or if you're not logged into social media, on your computer, you can save those images, send them as text. You can use that text template to send in your family group chats, for instance, to send to people you love. So there's many ways to do this. And we're gonna spend about like somewhere between like 5 and 7 minutes just sharing these posts, or at least like downloading them if maybe we wanna keep them. And please just jump in with any questions that you have.
I saw Lauren put in the chat to save the toolkit link, and I totally agree. So how do we get that after this call?
Ooh, great question. I'm going to send a follow-up email with the link to the toolkit for everybody. And you can add that to your bookmarks on your computer. You can also send the toolkit link to people you love, especially other people who you know like sharing a lot on their social media platforms. So we'll share it over email afterwards, and also recommend that you save it. Thanks, Lauren. I'm gonna try. I wonder if we should play some music. I don't know if I said to share music with it. Share here, share sound, share. Disco, obviously. Love. Okay, let's get it going. Let's get it going.
No one thought
Oh,
this could be
that's
done.
an ad.
This rent control law.
I think, Jenna, your sound isn't sharing.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's like distant, so maybe reshare again with the sound.
Okay. Sorry, everybody. As somebody who spends a lot of my time doing tech stuff.
It's okay. If you toggle the audio options with the little like up arrow next to the mic, it'll probably be one of them. But I never know which.
Or do you want me to
Thanks.
share some? There you go.
That's what happened.
Oh, it's still not doing it.
Hold on. Now?
No, we can see the video, but we can't we can't share the sound. Here, I'll do it real quick.
I got it.
Okay. Sorry.
Now? No?
No. I mean, do you all hear it?
I think that it's I have an update that I'm getting pop-ups about an update I haven't made to my computer, so I think that's what it is. So if somebody else wants to share.
Do you want me
wanna-
to play it? I'm just a volunteer, but I can do the list I do for postcard nights.
Oh, I love it. It's the sound.
Be okay?
Uh,
You want me to make you a co-host?
Sure, yeah.
Oh wait, I can hear that.
Can you hear something? Okay, great.
Yeah.
This is Saturday by Norma Jean Wright at Get Out the Vote Radio, coming to you live in UltraViolet.
oh my gosh, I thought that was a recording.
I'll happily be the DJ tonight. Sound okay?
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's get sharing some truth, friends. Woo! Thanks for getting out the vote.
No, I don't think I can make it much longer. Every day, just like some old jerk, all I do is work. I'm no robot. I just have to party, ooh, and please my body. Let's go disco. Meet the guys and gals. They're all my pals. I just can't wait till Saturday. I just can't wait till Saturday. I just can't wait till Saturday. I just can't wait till Saturday.
Question. So I thought I posted it, but I don't see it on X. How
Interesting.
do I? Because I said post but I don't see it.
Interesting.
Sorry.
Maybe try refreshing.
Okay, but
You
I'm
said
trying to
post.
find.
Oh, did you finish? Did you pull up X itself? And
Yes, I did all the steps, and then I said post. I had to sign in,
mhm,
but
mhm.
should it be right there, or is it somewhere else?
It should kind of disappear, but then if you go to your profile, you should see it.
Oh, here it is. No, that's not it. Sorry. Let me go back to
Don't be
this.
sorry. Sometimes it's. Let me test it on my X. Just.
Yeah, it did post.
It did? Okay, good. I was just testing and I was about to check myself.
This is pretty easy.
Yeah, once you do, it looks like a lot of steps, but when you do it, you're like, oh, like this is
That's simple.
yeah.
Okay, let me pick another one to
Yeah,
post.
let's try and get a couple more. One or two.
The only thing I don't like is when I get all the negative responses. I try not to read them.
I know. I know. That is the
I think, and I think, well, I feel like saying, well, you know what you can do, but I don't say it.
I know. Sometimes you have to, sometimes you can't help yourself, but like it's too much hatred.
No, for me, it's always I do it, I respond, and then I get in trouble.
Good trouble.
All done that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We have all done that. Okay, y'all. I promise these toolkits aren't going anywhere. I know that some of y'all have just gotten the hang of this, and if you're like cruising and having fun, like doing this piece, like please keep doing it. I'm gonna pivot us just out to hear some quick reflections on what people think, and then into our report storm. But I just want to give a big round of applause to everybody for piloting this with us and for sharing out some truths on your social media platforms with your people, with your networks. Even though we might not always get the kindest and most loving responses, it's clear that like we are doing the work to, make sure that our care and commitment is communicated factually and compassionately. Thank you, Lauren, for DJing. Does anybody have like a quick reflection or thought they want to share about this exercise?
I thought it was easy, so I'm going to just keep on doing it until they tell me to shut up.
Okay, great. And even if they do, keep going. Anybody else?
I think some great conversation in the comments.
Yeah, I'm seeing it too. Lauren says, I've always done my own graphics and memes, that having more professional ones is great. Totally. Yeah, to be clear, I didn't create these. I mean, I created the content of them, but we had some like amazing professional designers do this, which is beautiful. And we're very, very grateful. So yeah, and that's great feedback because we're thinking about how we can create similar toolkits in the future. So, keep posting these, keep, sharing them out with your network over the coming weeks to get out the vote and share some facts. And, also keep a lookout for similar fact sheets to come, because the more coordinated we are with our messaging, again, like the less likely our people are to fall prey to these disinformative attacks. Oh, thanks for that tip, Lauren. Yeah, we gotta keep the consistency up, even though it's hard. Okay, amazing work. I'm gonna take us back into our slide deck. One second.
By the way, before we reach the back, since we've never held a session like this one, would people be okay with a group photo?
I'm seeing some thumbs up, some smiles. I do it now, Lisa? You want me to stop sharing?
Yeah, if we could take a group photo before, and then people that don't want to be in it can just get off camera.
Totally. I love that.
All right, so I think you'll have to take yourself off the spotlight,
Oh,
right?
sorry. I didn't even know I was. Oh my gosh. Wow, y'all. I'm really not on it today. Okay.
I just did it. You're good. I'm formatting it on our end. I'm putting
Dunkin'
only people in the
Donuts.
picture. Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, I lived in Boston for 10 years and that just made
It's a
my
box of Joe and Kamala and Tim.
In high school, and all my like my siblings worked at Dunkin' D's. Like, you know.
I miss that coffee every day. I know I
All
want
right,
to.
y'all, let's take a picture.
Are you doing it, Mary?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, thanks.
1, 2, 3. So cute. Okay, one more. Let's Billy. Got it. Thanks,
I
y'all.
don't know about the picture because
I know the strawberry frosted donut with the sprinkles. That's my favorite.
I mean, come on.
Dunkin' D.
So good. Okay, y'all. We did that. We did that. Deep breaths. We injected some facts, some joy, some compassion into this often very toxic ecosystem. That was our offense. Now we're going to go defense mode. We're going to go do some reporting. So that's the R. That's the R in the CPR, which is reporting content on social media. Many of you might know this, but on social media platforms, you can report content to the company, which is basically just flagging that a piece of content is in violation of their policies. And in response, a platform can do a few different things. They might remove the content. They might use other moderation interventions like downranking. They might issue a warning. And of course, and often, they might not take any action at all. But even when they don't take action, reporting can be really important because it is both a way to counter a narrative without like actually engaging with someone who's attacking or spreading a bad thing, but it can also result in consequences by helping us show platforms like that people are reporting this content, people know that this is violating their policies, and they're still not taking action on it. So like, what's up with that? So it's important for us to continue reporting even when it feels futile, because we need the leverage. We need the evidence to show like, no, like we know what you're doing and we see you. And because they're using AI so much these days, it flags to the AI, oh, this might be harmful, let's investigate it. So it's good on a whole bunch of different levels. And I'm going to share just one example of a reporting win recently. And I want to give a heads up that on the next slide is a graphic sexual deepfake of Kamala Harris made with AI we found circulating on Twitter. I've blurred it out, but it can still be disturbing. So just as a heads up, I'm not going to be on this page very long, and just like take care of yourself while viewing and after. So we recently reported 4 images like these circulating on X recently, and we're so thrilled to report that 3 of the 4 of the ones we posted got removed, or that we flagged and reported got removed. And these posts collectively had tens of thousands of views and were perpetuating really gross sexist stereotypes and normalizing the sexualization of women, of color leaders without their consent. So these types of wins are exactly why it's so important to keep reporting and why the work that we're about to do together is so important. Ooh. So our goal today will be to report at least 2 disinformative posts on at least 1 social media platform. How are we going to do this? So like last time, I'm going to walk through it step by step without actually any of us doing it. Then I'm going to go through a demo, and then we're going to pause for questions, and then we're going to do it all together. So first, I'm going to use this example post that's up on Facebook. We have a number of posts that we want to take down, but this is just the one I'm going to use to run through the demonstration. This is a post from Candace Owens, who is very wrongfully questioning Kamala Harris's racial identity and digging into her family history. So that's what we're going to be working off of. So if I wanted to report this, I would press, I would essentially go, there's like a 3 little dots button that you click to expand, which I'll show in the demo in a minute, and then you click report post. Then it usually asks you like, why are you reporting this? Like, what policy is this breaking? And there's like a bunch of different policies usually, and for every platform, it's a little bit different, and it's not a perfect science. So It's not ever going to be perfect, but you have to choose the categories you think are best. Today, we're going to go through kind of like some of the options. So for instance, thinking about this last post with Candace Owens, she's basically saying Kamala's father isn't Black, that Kamala Harris isn't Black. What do we think this would fall under? Anyone have like a thought of like what policy this might violate?
Would it be false information?
False, yeah.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. Again, it could be, I mean, I see this as like bullying and harassment. I see
Yeah,
this.
it was between those two of it, but that's absolutely a scam and it's fraudulent. So I think the right loves to bully and harass and abuse. So to them, that's like, yeah, what's wrong with that?
Exactly. You know exactly. Yeah, you're already like in my head about like what content moderators are looking for and like how we kind of like get around their systems. Yeah, so I would flag this as scam, fraud, or false information. Then there's a second category question. On Facebook, they have like three levels of categorization. So which one of these do we think we would select for the secondary category? Anyone? Desiree?
Lauren responded number 2.
Yeah, and I think Desiree, you were on mute, but I actually saw your lips. I think your mouth.
Sharing false information as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Yes, y'all nailed it. Amazing. Okay, and then again for Facebook, but not for the others, it asks for a third categorization. So which one would we pick here?
Politics?
That's absolutely right. I could see it social issues as well. Yeah, I'm seeing Lauren also hold up a number 2. Yeah, I think that like, again, it's really like what you think. Unfortunately, one of the challenges with reporting is like they really like to only take down and take seriously like the most graphic content. And we're not always flagging like super graphic content, but that doesn't mean it's any less dangerous. So it's kind of just like up to us to decide like how we want to report it. But that's just one example of how we might report. And then the final step is they usually ask if you want to take any additional actions like block an account or hide posts. That's totally up to you, but that usually comes up on any platform that we report on. Okay, so now I'm going to demo. Do you guys see this? What did I accidentally color on the screen?
Sometimes it happens if someone else clicks on it. You have to, in the host tools, disable marking the whiteboard for that not to happen.
Oh,
It's weird.
Thank you, Lauren, for being our in-house our out-of-house in-house tech expert today. Okay, so can you all see my Twitter page?
Yes.
Okay, thank God. I'm going to show you how to report this. This is a tweet that is pushing the false narrative that Kamala Harris is responsible for one of the largest human trafficking operations in modern history, which is actually just talking about unaccompanied minors trying to cross the border towards a better life. And there's no context. And they're also showing, they blur some of the kids' images, but not really. And there's a lot going on here. So let's try and do this. So I'm going to click these 3 dots, which will be on almost any platform that we are using. I'm going to click report post. For this one, because we're limited time, I won't. Please feel free to put in like what you would do in the chat, but I'm just gonna, Twitter, of course, because they're so stripped of their trust and safety team, they don't even have an option for false information anymore. So I would say, I would probably say hate, because it's a lot of like racist stereotypes and dehumanization. Then I would probably, there's like, a few options here. I would either choose slurs and tropes for this, hateful references, or incitement, just because we know what these messages are really intended to do, which is incite violence against immigrants, against people of color, and that often like is like a stronger flag for a platform to investigate. So I'm just going to choose incitement, and then I'm going to say submit. And it's going to ask if I want to do these things. I'm going to say no, and then I'm going to click done. So that is what we're doing. And I'm now, oops. I'm now going to go to does anyone have any questions before we get to work on this together?
I just want to comment that in the past, I've been told to block these accounts so that they also like lose reach, so people aren't seeing their posts.
Yeah, totally. But yes, thank you, Mary. That's a really good flag. I wasn't blocking them because unfortunately a lot of my job requires paying attention to these accounts and like staying on top of them. But I think most of you should block them unless you, like me, are trying to like do a lot of reporting and kind of like keep tabs on these accounts. Thank you, Mary. That's super helpful. Anyone else have any questions before we dive in? Okay, let's do it. So I put together, oh gosh, where is it now? Sorry, I have so many tabs open. I put together a document with all of these listed out. I'm going to share this link with all of you. Oops. And put it in the chat right now. I just selected 3 for 3 different platforms. So there's 3 for Facebook, there's 3 for Instagram, and there's 3 for X. And I actually slotted in like what categories make the most sense and are going to be the most effective here for reporting. So if you just click on that link, you can decide essentially like what platforms you want to report on. You can choose your own reporting categories if you want to. If you want to do your own reporting on content that you've been seeing, for instance, from other people in your network, you're welcome to. Does this make sense to everybody? Just to be clear, under the link column is where you're going to actually click and access the posts that you're going to report. Lauren, you're so affirming. And I'm also going to ask you to throw back on some music.
Hell yes. Keep your
Okay.
questions in the chat. We're going back to Get Out the Vote Radio, busting some myths, speaking some truth. Here's Instant Replay by Dan Hartman.
Hell yeah. And if you have questions, just jump in or DM in the chat.
I will DJ all day.
You set my lips on fire. You run the key to my heart. You got a special way to move me. Can't stop now. Let's do it again. You keep me dancing through the moonlight. I feel the pleasure in your touch. And everything you always had done. Oh, I can't get enough. No, I can't get enough. Shining star, and when I look into your eyes, it's magic. I just know this can't be a dream. I'm so happy, must be real. In every way, it's getting stronger. Let me know it. Let me show it. Got me floating on a cloud. Got me dancing all around, all around, all around.
one more minute. Okay, guys. Wow, this is dream team, literal dream team. Again, please feel free to keep reporting. We're just gonna wrap up this call, but like this is all stuff that you can do on your own. Both of the social media sharing and the reporting. And oh, here's my I accidentally shared this earlier and I was like, wait, we haven't done it yet, but now we've officially done that. And like we're all trained up. Yeah, Lauren, I see a hand.
Yeah, can you share a longer list of posts to report or just an ongoing Google Drive document?
I can. Yeah, something I said
Why
in the chat
not?
was that like I'm like always worried about amplifying or like, you know, accidentally giving people a link to like all these horrible accounts, but I do think that like with a dedicated group of folks who are like down to like be looking at this pretty upsetting content and report it, that it would be minimal risk with high impact. And then I also want to note that like I showed that example earlier of like the really gross deep fake porn images of Kamala Harris, and we do need more people reporting those, but we're also, of course, like very cognizant that that's pretty taxing and like troubling. So if that's something that you are like interested and like have capacity to do, please like reach out to us or like give like a hand raise or a thumbs up or write it in the chat, because we're trying to kind of gauge like where people are at with like how, you know, how much they're able and willing to like engage with that type of content. Because it can be, I mean, I said this on a call earlier, like my brain chemistry is like not right. So, you know, but we're all exposed to a lot of this stuff anyway. So, you know, recognizing that we want to like take this power back into our own hands. So long-winded way to answer your question, Lauren, and saying like, yes. And I think like we need to make a plan for it. And we want to hear from y'all kind of like who's interested. And even if it's a group of like 10 or 20 of us doing like regular reporting, I think that would be great. We could just keep like a live list of kind of like what posts we need to be reported every week and like keep track of how much reporting we're doing.
Do we have people, should we give people the info box to email if they're
Yeah.
interested in? Okay,
Yes,
so I'm gonna put
that
in
would
the,
be. And we're going to send in the follow-up email, we'll send with the toolkit and the slide deck and like which has the reporting and like the reporting document. We're also going to share a survey just gauging folks' interest in like continuing this work. So in the meantime, before you get that survey, if you want to reach out to Infobox, if you want to like keep running with this, that would be great. And otherwise it would be amazing if you could complete that survey. And I just want to say thank you so much. This was like new for me to trial run with everybody. And I just feel really grateful that we got such like a positive and engaged group of folks. I know I like really needed and continue to need this kind of like solidarity and like fighting like in, you know, in these days that we're in. And now we're all trained up and like we can keep doing this. Like it really does take every single one of us to like combat these really gross and often violent lies, especially in like these like crucial days leading up to the election. So we're just grateful to you all for stepping up. Even one post, one report makes a difference. And the bottom line is we have the tools we need to protect ourselves and we're the ones who keep us safe. So just really grateful to be in community with all of you. Please, yeah, look for the email, send an email if you want to do more to the info at, and then fill out the survey for more. Amazing.
you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. And don't forget to vote.
Yes.
So much love to you all. Thank you. Thank you.